Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for your patience this morning. We had a little bit of technical difficulties trying to do a live and remote event. Welcome to 2021, right? We are so happy to have you all here this morning. Thank you so much for starting your day out with us for the Good Morning Great Futures Breakfast. This is a really special time for our Boys and Girls Club because we're also celebrating our 75th anniversary this year. So how awesome is that?
Hey, we're filming.
Just a reminder that if you're moving around in the building, you do need to wear your masks. When you're sitting at your tables, you're welcome to take those off. Obviously, if you're eating breakfast, you're gonna need to take your mask off, right? Has anyone had that moment where they forgot and went to drink or eat something yet? If you haven't, it will probably happen to you at some point, I can guarantee it. It is my honor and privilege to be the Boys and Girls Club President and CEO. My name is Dawn Stanhope, for those of you that I haven't met. And we have a really fun and exciting program for you this morning. And I know that when you leave here, your heart is just going to be filled with such joy for what the Boys and Girls Club is doing for young people in our community. And we have several of our young people here with us here today, and so you're going to be hearing from some of them. And I'd like to start things off by asking our Junior Youth of the Year from our clubs to come over here to the side of the stage so that we can do the Pledge of Allegiance together. Come on up, Junior Youth of the Year. Face over towards the flag. There you go. You guys ready? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, guys. I'd like to give a shout out to our Junior Youth of the Year finalists. We got Kaylin, Andy, Al Jaden, and our Junior Youth of the Year winner, Alexandra from Rogers Garden Elementary. So kudos to all of you. I'd like to also thank today's sponsors. Our lead sponsor for this breakfast is Publix Charities, and many of you know how committed they are to our communities and the wonderful support that they give throughout. And so we're very appreciative of their corporate citizenship. And additional sponsors are Deerbrook Charitable Trust, Oshkosh Corporation, Pierce Manufacturing, Iberia First Horizon Bank, and Miss Barbara Jennings and Miss Ann Lee. And we'd also like to thank Manatee Performing Arts for donating the space to us today, and Pier 22 for not only making the delicious breakfast, but the Miller family has also been a very big supporter of this program every year and donating pretty substantially to it. So big round of applause for our sponsors. I want to give a big shout out to our esteemed mayor of Bradenton, Mayor Brown, who is also an amazing club alum and proud Boys Club Boy of the Year before we turned to Youth of the Year. So it was just a few years ago, right? But thank you for being here, Mayor. And not only is he mayor, but he finds time to stay on our board of directors as well. And we have several board members who are here. So if you can give a wave if you're on the board for corporate or foundation, Club Blue, thank you guys for all you do. Now we're going to move on a little bit with our program here. And I'd like to introduce our dear friend, Judge Gilbert Smith. Judge Smith is representing the Kiwanis Club of Bradenton. He is the historian, not only for Kiwanis, but for our county. He has such a wealth of knowledge and has put countless hours into preparing and documenting history. And the Kiwanis Club was who founded the Boys Club back in 1946. So he's going to share a little bit of the history of the club and the partnership and how they responded to a need 75 years ago. So Judge Smith, please come on up to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. I want to first thank you for inviting me here. I want to introduce some people to you. Don, of course, the president, is a member of Kiwanis, but we also have the president of Bradenton Kiwanis here, and that is Christy Cardello. And we also have Neil Unruh, who is also a vice president, who is going to be the president one day. And there probably are some other people in here who may be with the club. I wanted to start with this photo of the Manatee County Fairgrounds in 1920, when it was located in the same place where the Boys Club started in its first building on 9th Street in 1946. Of course, the fair was there about 25 years earlier, and it only stayed there a few years. A lot of people don't know that, but the building that the Boys Club started in on 9th Street actually had been the old armory, but also had been used by the Fair Association when it was there. Now, in my job every day, I see people, a lot of young people, who I wished had been in the Boys and Girls Club of Manatee County. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. The Boys Club, and now the Boys Club and Girls Clubs of Manatee County, is a great organization, and you're to be congratulated on your history of serving the youth in this community. 75 years is a long time. And like Bradenton Kiwanis, the history of this club is much like the history of Manatee County. In 1945, World War II dominates the news every day. In fact, the war affects everyone. And in early 1945, young men were still joining the armed services. Some as young as 15 and 16 years old. And I've even heard of boys even younger than that who joined if they looked mature. Now, during this time, Manatee County continues to be a family-friendly community, including Bradenton and Palmetto, who have many, many organizations for children, but most of them are through the schools or through churches. And so in 1945, there is a need for programs for boys, for other activities, and for sports. If you know anything about the history of Manatee County, you've heard of the Bradenton Trailer Park. It was created by courageous and brilliant businessmen during the Great Depression. The success of the park gave Bradenton Kiwanis the ability to financially support programs for children with the profits. Even though the club had only started the park in 1936, it generated a profit only a few years later. Elon Rood was the president of Bradenton Kiwanis in 1945. Elon was a father with two young sons, Joseph and William, who were in the army fighting in Europe. He understood how important it was to have organized programs for boys. During this time, President Rood and the Bradenton Kiwanis looked for a new program for boys. The Boys Club of America was successful and growing around the nation. And it's amazing to think that the Boys Club's origin dates back to before the Civil War. But in early 1945, President Rood had led the Bradenton Kiwanis into establishing a Boys Club program in Manatee County. Representatives of the National Club came to Bradenton several times in 1945. And in the articles that appear throughout the Bradenton Herald during that time, they talk about bringing the lads together in a program of activities for the boys. Now then on August 3rd, 1945, leaders of Bradenton Kiwanis met at the American Legion with other men in the community who were interested in organizing a boys club in Manatee County. Bradenton Kiwanis was not only not afraid to get other service clubs involved, it actually encouraged it during that time. So other service clubs were also invited to join in support of this new boys club. And on August 28, 1945, Kiwanis and Gilbert Smith appeared before the Bradenton City Council and presented the new boys club program and asked for a 5-year lease on an old wooden clubhouse at the north end of the 9th Street ballpark. Bradenton Kiwanis committed to remodeling the building for the new boys club. The City Council unanimously approved that lease to the boys club for $1 a year. And later the city also approved the boys using the land to the south, including part of the baseball field. Now in October of 1945, the National Club returned to approve the new boys club in Manatee County, and Kenneth Corwin was hired as the first executive director. Now let me tell you about what the programs were during that time. They were going to have classes that were going to teach the boys math, government, civics, and woodworking, and indoor and outdoor sports. And depending on the age of the boys, they were going to be classified as either midgets, juniors, intermediate, senior, or alumni. Now, Mr. Corwin visited many schools to invite boys to join the club. Most of the boys who signed up went to Ballard Elementary School, which was not that far away, and boys could walk there. Boys were also signed up from Cortez School and the new Walker Junior High School that had just opened a couple of years before. And on January 7th, 1946, the Boys Club of Manatee County got off to a good start with many boys signing up because the charter members and became the charter members of the club. The Bradenton Herald's coverage not only encouraged Bradenton Kiwanis to succeed, but also encouraged parents to encourage their boys to join the Boys Club program. The boys lined up at the clubhouse on 9th Street. And then in February 1946, the Boys Club of Manatee County, under the guidance of the Bradenton Kiwanis, other civic groups and interested individuals began operations as an affiliated member of the Boys Club of America. The first meeting was held in this old remodeled wooden frame building, which is used as a field house for the Major League Baseball team. There at the time was the Boston Braves. Bradenton Kiwanis also supported the Boys Club by providing half of the budget that year, and in the amount of $7,500. And the other half came from the community chess program at the time. Over the years, Bradenton Kiwanis is not just a supporter of the Boys Club, but also acts more like a partner. Now later in the year, in 1946, Marion T. Snooks McGinnis would be hired as the director of the Boys Club of Manatee County. Snooks had been an athlete in college and educated as a teacher. He also became a member of Bradenton Kiwanis Club and would later serve as a president. That was a good move for Snooks, the Boys Club, and Bradenton Kiwanis. He would serve over 10 years as the director until he was elected as clerk of the circuit court, where he actually, I will tell you, served for over 20 years. 1951, moving forward, was an exciting time for Bradenton Kiwanis when the profits from the Bradenton Trailer Park exceeded $50,000 for the first time. The Boys Club needed a gymnasium. Bradenton Kiwanis goes on a major building program for the Boys Club, and the way it structured the obligation showed its commitment to the Boys Club. Bradenton Kiwanis set aside $25,000 from earnings from the trailer park to start the project and pledged the additional $55,000 from future profits from the trailer park. Think about that commitment of the money they had not earned yet from the park. It was projected that the gym would enable the boys club to go from a couple of hundred boys to 1,200 boys they could serve. And it began in September of that year, the construction or the groundbreaking ceremony. And then in June, it took a while to build it. In 1952, the building is dedicated with over 400 people in attendance. Now think about that, how many people we have here today. Think about what you had in past years of the support the Boys Club had. But in 1952, 400 people showed up for a dedication at the Boys Club on 9th Street. Ed Price served as the Master of Ceremonies, and Judge George Hitchcock served as the speaker. And both of those men would serve for a long time as supporters of the Boys Club, and the positions they elevated to, including Ed Price, who became a senator, was most helpful with the Boys Club. Then in early 1956, Bradenton Kiwanis looked again at the Boys Club to see what they could do to help the club. It was still operating in this small wooden building where it started in 1946. And so on March 14, 1956, Kiwani and R.M. Bell appeared in front of the Bradenton City Council to get their permission for the Boys Club to continue using this site and to build a new clubhouse. And Bradenton Kiwanis assured and guaranteed the city that it was going to be paying for that new clubhouse up to $75,000. That was a lot of money in 1956. It took almost a year to complete that project, and when it was completed in September 1957 and dedicated, it would serve this community for many, many years. In the early 1960s, the Boys Club saw the need for a branch in southern Manatee County. Where there was a cow pasture just a few years earlier, there were now hundreds of homes and families and many children. The club opened there was also an elementary school and a new junior high school planned. The Boys Club opened a branch in the Bayshore Shopping Center and began a campaign to build a new club. In 1966, Bradenton Kiwanis purchased a 5-acre parcel on 34th Street for $12,000 and gave it to the Boys Club for the Bayshore branch. Now, this is an interesting photo. Out of all the people in this photo, almost all of them are members of Bradenton Kiwanis. That's Judge, to your left is Judge Hensley. There's, I think it's Bud Reesner, and next to him, that's Dozier Hilliard, and then it's Joseph Fant and then the others, I believe Dan McClure's in there too, who used to be a county commissioner. Following a capital fund drive, the new facilities for the branch were dedicated in 1968 with the name changed now to DeSoto Boys Club. Bradenton Kiwanis, during that first year, paid the operating expenses of $24,000 and the equipment in the amount of $4,000. And then in 1973, the Bradenton Kiwanis assisted the Boys Club with a remodel of their offices, and then in 1988, makes a gift to the Boys Club to assist in the establishment of their new foundation. The Boys Club, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Manatee County is a strong organization in part because Bradenton Kiwanis is a strong organization. They're really in the same business. They are partners. Through the years, many of the presidents of Bradenton Kiwanis later serve on the board of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Manatee County. So it is important that both organizations are strong and that they stay strong. On August 22nd, 2022, Bradenton Kiwanis turns 100 years old. It is going to celebrate and invites the Boys and Girls Clubs of Manatee County and its leaders to join in that celebration. I know that we already have some plans for the future for a luncheon, but there are going to be other opportunities that you'll be able to get involved with. But what I see in court every day, as I mentioned earlier, reminds me why I am so thankful for the Boys and Girls Club of Manatee County. I want to thank all the leaders, all the staff, all the volunteers of this great organization and for their commitment to the children of Manatee County. You are making a big difference. Thank you for inviting me, and congratulations again.
What an awesome history lesson for us all this morning, huh? Amazing. Thank you so much, Judge. We are so blessed to have such a strong partnership in our community, and it's hard to even think about what the Boys and Girls Club would be today without you all. So thank you so much again for that. I would like to now invite longtime staff member Miss Kathy Powell, and our DeSoto Club Director, Miss Leanne Frank. They're going to talk a little bit about what happened next when Boys and Girls Club started ramping things up a little bit from our early beginnings. So come on up, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
My name is Kathy Powell. I'm a 13-year employee for the Palmetto Boys and Girls Club. And I want to take this time to thank Ms. Catrice for inviting me to the 75th celebration. I'm going to give you a little history on Boys Club. Back in the early 70s, the club was open for boys only. There was 3 locations, one in Palmetto, 2 in Bradenton. And at that time, the club provided no transportation for the kids. So the parent they either had to walk or the parents would have to provide transportation. The boys didn't mind walking because they knew once they got to the club, there was a lot of exciting things going on. There were professional people there to teach them different types of sports. They had a wood shop. There was someone there to teach them to cook. They also took them on field trips. And the main field trip they loved was going to the beach, which is something I wouldn't do. Take kids to the beach. But by the time they would leave the club, I'm going home talking about all the good things they were doing and the activities they were involved in. The parents started knocking on the doors at the boys' club, wanting to know how they can get their daughters involved in the club. So at the local level, they sent out a survey to the community to find out how they feel about allowing girls to become part of the Boys and Girls Club, the boys clubs, excuse me. So that survey was returned, and it was so overwhelming, girls started coming to the club in the early 90s. And at that time, we ended up having to change the name to Boys and Girls Club, and today, Boys and Girls Club, there's more girls to the club. Part of the club is boys. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Kathy, for that. So I'm going to share a little bit of where the clubs are now and where we're heading. So obviously, girls are part of who we are, and we've learned over time that the clubs have to continue to evolve, that we have to continue to support our members where they are. So the Boys and Girls Clubs of Manatee County, the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, has learned that innovation and technology is not to be an afterthought, that is to be part of our programs and carefully threaded into our programs to provide safe places to allow our kids to feel curious, to be challenged, to be ready for 21st century learning skills. Our program staff has been challenged throughout the past 6 years that I've been part of the club to think differently, to not just do things the same way, but to allow our members to really drive our programs and what they want. So it's okay to TikTok at the Boys and Girls Club. I said TikTok. It's okay for our members to explore robotics. This picture here with these young ladies, they were a all-girls Lego robotics team that competed. Boys and Girls Clubs of Manatee County has actually been the first club in the Suncoast area to not only compete and Lego robotics in the Suncoast area, but actually win awards. Our youngsters, our young people, our members have won an award for the most innovative research project, bringing water to space through plants and recycling things that we wouldn't use to get water. They talked about centrifugic forests and figuring out different ways, and all of this is through technology. Our clubs now have tablets. All of our clubs have tablets that are able to be used for reading programs, for Zoom calls. I've never thought that we'd be connecting with our volunteers and other clubs through Zoom. As we continue to push the ball forward, and that's a basketball term, push that down the court, we look at the spaces and the curriculum and ways to innovate our programs through technology. I'm excited about our digital arts media program specialist that's coming on board soon to help us build a robust curriculum in digital media that it can benefit all of our clubs. We don't want to just think about our individual clubs, we want to think about it globally. We want to be able to connect to the other boys and girls clubs across the United States, across the world, not just through pen and paper, but through technology. COVID-19 has taught us so much that relationships in our clubs are important, but staying connected through technology allows us to continue to push forward, continue to connect with our members. So I'm excited about the future of technology in our programs. I'm excited about our members kind of telling us what they need. We want our members to always be safe. I'll never forget a member telling me one day that she felt safer at the club utilizing our technology because she knew that if there was an issue with bullying, if there is an issue with social media, that she felt that she could tell a staff member. To me, the club should always be about safety, whether it is in the face-to-face moments or in the technology moments. So the clubs continue to evolve. We are looking bright to the future. The one thing I love about Boys and Girls Clubs is that we're not just for our members, but we're about for our members where they are and where they need to be. Thank you so much, and I would like to now introduce Dalton Lyons to come to the front as he gets ready to lead us in the Boys Club Oath and Pledge. And this is a great gem that comes back from many, many years ago. Dalton.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm up here to read the creed, and I hope everyone has had a nice breakfast. I believe in God and the right to worship according to my own faith and religion. I believe in America and the American way of life, and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I believe in fair play, honesty, and sportsmanship. I believe in my Boys and Girls Club, which stands for these things. Thank you.
If we had any longtime Boys Club members in here, you probably remember saying that pledge because it was something that was a daily occurrence when you would come into the club that you would go through that. And so thank you, Dalton, for sharing that with us. Also, thank you, Judge Smith, Miss Kathy, Miss Leanne. You guys just are rock stars, and I love hearing about the clubs from past to present to what's coming next. We're in good hands with people like this involved. Next, I'm pleased to introduce Miss Catrice Estes Allen, our Vice President of Program Services, who's going to share a little bit about our Youth of the Year program and the competition process. Miss Catrice.
Good morning. All right, so the Boys and Girls Club of the Youth of the Year is a title, prestigious honor upon a young person in recognition of leadership, service, academic excellence, and dedication to live a healthy lifestyle. Now, in its 74th year, the Youth of the Year program honors our nation's most awe-inspiring young people on their path to great futures and encourages all kids to lead, succeed, and inspire. After being Club Youth of the Year, our winner goes on to compete with their peers from throughout the state of Florida. If they advance, they go on to regional and finally to the national competitions. During the competition, both our Junior Youth of the Year and our Youth of the Year finalists deliver a speech and are interviewed by a group of business professionals who agree to judge the competition and choose a winner. This year, we had a wonderful group of judges, some of who are here today. We would like to thank these community-minded volunteers who worked hard to make this very difficult decision, awarding the Junior Youth of the Year as well as the Youth of the Year winners. For the Junior Youth of the Year, we had Matt Reel of Bank of America, Ann Lee of Double Check Solutions, Janon Pierce, CareCentrix, Charlie Lynch, who's a retired CEO and youth advocate, and Tyler Tieford of Bayshore Community Church. For the Youth of the Year, the judges are Angel Colonicio, I want to say. I probably jazzed it up a little bit, who is our Manatee County Clerk of the Court, Bruce Langsing, retired CEO and youth advocate, Mary Glass, Manatee Education Foundation, Helen Anderson, youth advocate, and Tarnisha Cleot, the executive director of the Minnesota Black Chamber of Commerce. So before I invite our Palmetto Club Director, Mr. John Aganelli, up to introduce our Youth of the Year winner, we have a brief video presentation of our competition this year. Was completely virtual. Our judges had a message to share with the kids as well as our staff.
Great explanations, and she went into a lot of detail. She enunciated even the big words great.
He did a great job presenting himself. I love the way that he delivered his speech. I love the fact that he helps other people around him too, other kids around him. I think that's great.
I had myself down as the best.
Really did a nice explanation about her family and her home life. Here she is, a 5th grader, and she already understands the cause and effect of the Boys and Girls Club.
She got the connection between I'm here, I'm safe, so my parents can work and go to school. I mean, what a powerful story. And, you know, how to realize that at such a young age, it just blew me away. To stand back and, you know, give his speech without reading it, and I just was so impressed with that.
I think the responses were actually a little bit more articulated. Some of the content behind it was just a little bit better. A lot more focus on community, a lot more focus on helping people, a lot more focus on others. I think that, you know, the fact that she does that is certainly fairly heavy.
And of course, Matt has, you know, has to wrestle with a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, while he's trying to do this as well.
Just on 5.
I thought they were all terrific. I'll tell you, my heart goes out to these kids in a big way. Standing, you know, as someone who grew up not being comfortable speaking in front of other people, I think all these children have done a great job preparing and getting themselves in this position. All of them are winners as far as I'm concerned. Let me digress one second. I think the Boys and Girls Club is so necessary in today's environment for just what we're seeing right now.
I'm amazed at these young people here. Just very articulate, very in tune with their feelings. I think that's something that needs to be highlighted. So to everyone on your team, kudos to you guys. I was actually blown away. But for them to both share, you know, something that was really personal to them, I think is definitely telling on the organization. And we just need to just wrap our arms around the youth, because they're going to be the ones that's going to be in our shoes here in a couple of years. So definitely got to foster that. Wow, I'm blown away. Thank you for inviting me.
how awesome that they found you at the Boys and Girls Club. How awesome is that? I mean, look at that. Just hearing these two are just something to be very proud of, the Boys and Girls Club.
It was just so moving to hear those two young students and to see how they view life. I found they're very articulate about what they want in life.
Felt so genuine, and we could see the emotion. And
he looks at everyday experiences and applies them to his life as lessons learned, and takes that from the past moving forward.
He has really good presence.
That for a youth or for a young adult to be able to experience and then tell others. She talked about, motivating others.
Her ability to kind of relate and speak from herself is right there.
I loved listening to her, and when she talked about creating that vibe, like she created that in our Zoom call. That was really cool.
And I was vibing with Yarellis. Kudos to them.
So it was a great experience, and that was just a small cap of what we talked about and what they experienced. And it really was a difficult, long conversation about our candidates. So thank you again to our judges, our club staff, and all of our finalists. I'd like to now introduce Mr. John Agnalali to come and welcome our Youth of the Year.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Our members are the most important people in our clubs. Without them, there's no need for the institution. They're not some cold enrollment statistic. They're a flesh and blood human being with feelings and emotions like our own. They're not a disruption of the work, they're the very purpose of it. And they're really not so dependent on us as we are dependent on them. Our Youth of the Year, Yarellis, I can probably cut off FPL the moment she walks in the door. Her capacity and ability to illuminate a room and to engage with people, not just deal with people, to relate to other humans and to connect with their emotions, to be a pioneer on behalf of social justice and a commitment to an inclusive society when we so desperately need it, she does with great ease at such a young age. As I was driving over here, I was telling my son, who's now got a 3-year-old, which makes me, and I said to him, I can only hope that my grandson is half the person she is by the time he reaches her age. It's been a humbling experience to work with you, to be indoctrinated with you, to watch and witness you grow, but more importantly, to have been able to share that heart space during our journey together. So without further ado, my dear.
Can everybody see me? All right, just making sure. Okay. Hello, everybody. It's been a nice morning, hearing the history and hearing all of these sponsors and good welcoming thanks to everybody who's here. So thank you to everybody who's here. I hope your mornings are going great. And yeah, I'll go on with my speech. I'm also a bit tired right now, so if I start to stutter or anything, please just bear with me. Just pretend like it didn't happen. You can't go back and change the beginning. Can I take this off?
Sure can.
Okay, thank you. I feel so much better. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. This famous quote by C.S. Lewis touched me because I can relate to it. I've been through a lot in my life, I can't go back and change it. I've made many mistakes in my life, but that didn't stop me from becoming who I am today. I'm grateful to those who believed in me and the potential I have. When I first came to the Boys and Girls Club, I had just started middle school and I had moved to the east side of Bradenton. I did not know anybody. It's never been hard for me to make friends, but finding good friends is what's most difficult. At the time, I didn't find the right friends. My attitudes and behaviors in middle school were negative and contributed to my actions the next school year, and I did some things that were not great at all. I tried marijuana to soothe my stress, but it wasn't a healthy way to deal with it. And after being caught by my mom, I started to question myself. I started to change the way I saw and did things. And this event is what helped me change from like a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, which meant I started to set goals and take action to achieve them. Also, my mom, the club staff, and my peers were contributing factors to me changing how I saw things. They helped me realize that I could be doing so much better instead of putting myself down like I was. Now, I may always seem tired, but the reality is I'm constantly thinking ahead and moving forward. I'm proud of the fact that I look out for others, I speak my piece, I use my knowledge, and I'm social and fun. I always tell my peers about coming to the club and consider myself a spokesperson, a walking ad. I tell them that you get to meet new people and the staff are really nice and supportive. Ultimately, I want to help my peers as much as the club and my mom has helped me. And that brings me to what I'm passionate about, which is helping teens move forward, not just educationally, but in life. Too many teens nowadays are oblivious to their potential. They stay stuck and ignore the fact that they can keep learning. In Denzel Washington's words, if you fall, fall forward. I encourage people to follow their dreams, even if it's not easy. Nothing is ever easy. Always have a backup plan, but still make the attempt. I tell them, don't let things in life stop you. Never stop thinking and never stop growing. If you stop, then you might have nothing to motivate you. Don't get stuck in a rut. Make sure you move forward. As you can see, I'm passionate about motivating and inspiring others to find their potential and follow their dreams. I believe it's important to speak my piece because I believe anyone is capable of anything they put their mind to. In Martin Luther King Jr.'s words, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter. I never want to be silent. Thank you.
Wow, isn't she amazing? Can you guys see why she's our Youth of the Year for 2021, 2022? Thank you, Yarellis. That was awesome. You just inspire me. Every time I hear you, I'm like, I just want to hold on to every single word you're saying. It's just prolific. It's wonderful. You're amazing. Yarellis, come on back up here, and I want to ask Miss Ann Lee, our board chair, to come here as well, because we have a little presentation for you.
I am super excited to do fun stuff. And I get to present to Yarellis a computer on behalf of, that's sponsored by ImageNet, who is the proud sponsor for the past 10 years. So Yarellis, I'm just going to leave it in the bag. You are awesome on every level. I'm going to give you a megaphone to shout from the rooftops about Boys and Girls Club and your story. Thank you so much for all you do. Here is your computer. Use it well. I know you will. know, we've seen several youth come up here today. We probably have 10 or 15 in the room. And those are 10 or 15 reasons to get involved, to do something that is meaningful and that has purpose and that helps us now and in our future. There are many more reasons that attend the Boys and Girls Clubs every day. In a non-pandemic arena, we serve about 1,000 children a day. That's 1,000 more reasons to do something, to get it in your heart, let it flow, and become involved in the Boys and Girls Clubs. Our clubs are awesome. You can see our staff is awesome, the children are all awesome, the young people. It's just amazing and very moving when you get to see it firsthand, the difference that Boys and Girls Clubs of Manatee County makes for our young people. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. Each day, hundreds of children attend the Boys and Girls Club where they engage in a variety of activities, from sharpening their academic skills to learning to eat healthy. At the heart of each club is its staff. While working with the children 5 days a week can be very rewarding, but no doubt challenging at times. I think we all agree that it takes a special person to work with the youth and to meaningfully engage them. We have many fine professionals at the Boys and Girls Clubs of Manatee County. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for the club staff who have worked tirelessly and faced many challenges, especially in this past year. I have been honored to work with these staff members and see them in action, and it warms your heart. You can see that there's true and pure love and concern for these youth in our community. I'd like to now present a fun challenge to you in the audience and those joining us on Zoom. Boys and Girls Clubs of Manatee County recently launched a monthly giving program called Be a Champion. Our champion donors are on a mission to enable our young people to realize their full potential. A monthly gift is not only simple and easy to set up, but it also provides a steady and reliable source of funding to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Manatee County. A monthly gift, for instance, of $84 equals $1,000 a year. That provides a one-year membership for a child or teen. $42, which equals $500 a year, assists with homework help and programs to prevent learning loss. A $34 gift per month adds up to $400 per year. That supports programs focused on graduating with a plan beyond high school. A $25 gift a month equals $300 a year, and that provides sporting equipment for healthy lifestyles. As summer approaches, we have a great opportunity for you to be a champion. Starting today through the end of May, we are inviting our donors to do whatever it takes to help our club members. As an incentive, anyone who makes a minimum recurring gift of $25 or more will be entered into a raffle to win a special barbecue basket. You have to wear white when you eat, which includes $100 gift card to Winn-Dixie. The drawing will take place May 24th, just in time for Memorial Day cookout. Simply go to www.bgcmanatee.org, click on the button, Be a Champion, or make a one-time donation on your computer or phone. We have instructions and envelopes on the table to make giving easy. We hope you will join us in this challenge and perhaps win a beautiful barbecue basket. Thank you for your support. No doubt the clubs have made a positive mark on our community. One of the last things I'd like to say is if you can be a champion on any of these levels, it doesn't matter, you don't have to conform to any of the regular giving processes. It's very, very easy to do. I do it myself. You never even miss it, but yet every month when I see that come out of my account, I have a smile on my face because I know, I just am so sure that it's going for the right purpose, for the right reasons, to the right people. So be good about it. Don't forget, even though the challenge ends May 24th, do it today so you don't forget. And then if you don't, I will have Yarellis call you. No, I'm just kidding. At this point, I would like to invite Bob Green from the Southwest Florida Gulf Coast chapter of Phi Psi to come up for a special presentation. And Dawn, can you join us?
Mr. Green has been an awesome supporter with his chapter for, gosh, I'm not even sure how many years. Goes way back, right, Bob? And he asked if we wouldn't mind if he could make a check presentation this morning. And I don't know about you, but who's going to say no to that, right? So, Mr. Green?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I've had both my immunizations. The South Florida Gulf Coast chapter of Phi Kappa Psi fraternity alumni is partnered with the Boys and Girls Club. It's a college fraternity. Its mission is to help young people grow, which is very similar to the Boys and Girls Club mission. So we raised money and we donated annually except last year. And we get a picture of that. And then my friend Dave Eckel, Wagner Realty, I told him I was going to be doing this and he said, well, take a check from Wagner Realty. So. Got two things for one. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much. That's so awesome, isn't it? We're going to do a quick picture and then I've got one more thing before we finish up today. You don't want to go anywhere. So we have one more thing before we wrap up. I'd like to invite Judge Smith back up here for a moment. He has no idea what's going on. He's like, what? You want me to go where? You know, you heard about the relationship with Bradenton Kiwanis, and you heard about their commitment from the very, very start. Well, we would like to announce that we have named Bradenton Kiwanis as our community partner of 2021. And we'd like to congratulate and thank them for their ongoing support and commitment. One of the things that he didn't mention, because he was on the history side of things, is that they're making history today through Manatee Elementary and starting the first community partnership school there and opening a brand new Boys and Girls Club on campus, which opened in January and will be going full-blown this summer. And the school's asking for us to just expand tremendously there because there's so many kids that want to be involved in the program. We couldn't have done that without matching funds between Bradenton Kiwanis and Deerbrook Charitable Trust. So we thank you for that as well. Judge, did you want to say anything? I know I caught you off guard. And we're going to do pictures too with the board members from Kiwanis, so don't go anywhere.
Well, the only thing I wanted to say is that Christy Cardello is the one that should be up here. And so I'm going to ask Christy, will you come up here, and Neil Unru.
Gilbert's being shy. So, you know, Dawn presented, we had a whole youth committee that looked at this opportunity, and Kiwanis is about, you know, the success of families and children. And we've supported Boys and Girls Club for many, many years. And when they presented us with the opportunity of what was going on at Manatee Elementary and how the need was over there, you know, you couldn't say no. I mean, that's our purpose. That's the whole point of Bradenton Kiwanis, is to lift these kids up and give them the opportunity and the access and the ability to be who they're supposed to be and have their community support them. So, you know, Dawn and her whole committee, because Dawn is a Kiwanian, they really presented it. They really put their heart and souls into explaining how it was going to benefit the school and the kids in that school. So that she wasn't going to get a no. And we're proud to be supporting it.
Thank you, guys. And Yarellis will be coming to a Kiwanis meeting next month and talking with the entire club right in this very room. So we'll be spreading some more love and joy there. Thank you guys again. We appreciate you so much. All right, so I hope your bellies are full and your hearts are even fuller this morning. This has just been such an awesome time to celebrate with you. We have missed having activities like this, and we'll continue to move forward in a safe way to ensure that we can meet our mission with our kids, as well as invite our community to celebrate this really important milestone with the 75th anniversary. And there are some great events coming up. So you're going to want to mark your calendars in July, because we will be bringing back the Pancake Jamboree on July 15th. And that's going to be held at Lecom Field. We're also going to do an alumni induction into our Hall of Fame. For those of you that know Mr. Willie Cooper, otherwise known as Coop. Coop is being recognized and inducted into our Hall of Fame, along with another amazing alumni, Mr. Omar Edwards, and he's here with us today. Omar. We're really excited to be able to honor them. We're going to have a fun activity that day with our youth doing their RBI baseball program. We also learned that this year's the 25th anniversary of Major League Baseball being involved with Boys and Girls Clubs of America. But we got on it way before they did, because I think we had our 25th anniversary with the Pirates like 4 years ago or something. So we were kind of ahead of the game on that. And for those of you that like golf or know golfers, we also have an amazing golf committee that's putting together an inaugural Keeping Kids Safe golf tournament on October 25th at the Ritz Golf Course. So that's not a course that everybody gets to play. So if somebody wants to pay to play, you're going to be supporting a great cause. Please invite people to join us in any of those activities. Thanks again for joining us this morning. I hope you have an awesome rest of your week. And we appreciate and love everything that you're able to do for us. Thanks again. God bless.